All right. Welcome, my friends. We're going right now. I've never done a live stream on YouTube. I have no idea if this is even working. But today we're going to talk about skipping meals. Now, if you watched my last video, which I posted yesterday, we talked all about stress eating. So today I want to talk about and address skipping meals because this is a question that did come up in my Facebook group or on my Facebook page when I posted about stress eating. I didn't address skipping meals as a way that people punish themselves with food. Typically, when people are punishing their bodies or they don't like their bodies, they don't like whatever is going on with their body, they might skip meals. And I want to just put it out there as a health coach and as a life coach that I do not condone skipping meals in this way. Now, should you skip meals? Let's see. I have a little list here of kind of some of my thoughts on skipping meals. Okay. Now, most medically minded health experts would say do not ever skip meals. In fact, they want us to eat 6 small meals a day. And we're doing this to encourage the balance of blood sugar, to regulate metabolism, so our hormones can balance out so we can lose weight. They found this a good way to lose weight and even maintain your weight. And they're saying if you can spread the calories out versus do any kind of fasting, but spread them out throughout the day, you don't get hungry. And if you go too long without eating, your blood sugar drops and so does your willpower. So you'll eat too much of the wrong stuff and that will go to fat storage by spiking blood sugar. It's said that your fat metabolism is turned on when you're eating these 6 small meals a day, but we don't want to tell our bodies that we're starving. And so that's why, from a medically minded perspective, a lot of people say do not skip meals, don't do intermittent fasting, just eat 6 small meals a day. Frequent meals has encouraged grazing. This is what I have found is most people who are under this idea that we need to have 6 small meals a day, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing because it actually is working for a lot of people, but they turn into grazers. They don't track their food or count their calories. They have no idea what's going in. They just keep eating and they don't give their poor stomach a space where it wants to rest and digest. Yes, your blood sugar might be balanced, but it might not be balanced if you're eating the wrong things. We as humans, especially in America, eat a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of sugars, a lot of bread, a lot of pasta, a lot of pizza, sandwiches, you name it. Those are the kinds of foods we mainly like to eat. And so if you're hearing from your doctor or somebody that you need to eat 6 times a day, and you don't have a plan for that and what that's gonna look like, it's so easy to overeat and overindulge and overgraze and become in this habit of grazing all day long, where now your blood sugar is spiking and it's dropping and it's spiking. It doesn't actually drop, it kinda just spikes and comes down a little and then spikes again and comes down and spikes again. You keep spiking it over and over again. You have all this fat storage on your body. Okay, so that could be one problem if not done correctly, of eating your 6 small meals a day. But today I want to talk a little bit about intermittent fasting. Now, I did hear from another medical doctor who didn't promote intermittent fasting, but he did promote eating 2 large meals a day versus eating throughout the day. He says it's best if you um, eat 700 calories at one meal and then 700 at the next, that's the best way for your body. And I just want to give you the impression that there's so many ways to do things to get the results that you want. There's no one right way. So I don't think it's best to tell people don't skip meals, but let's tell them how to do it in the correct way. And eating 2 large meals a day might be a correct way for some people, it might not for other people. If we're talking about intermittent fasting is where you're taking a 10 to 18-hour window where you're not eating, and typically people start doing this, they'll stop eating about 8 p.m., and then they won't eat anymore, and then they're sleeping through the night, so of course they're fasting, and then they don't eat again till maybe 10 a.m. the next morning. Okay, so that's one way people are doing some intermittent fasting. And people are certainly losing weight, and they're becoming aware more of what they're putting in their body when they're intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting is also good for mental health, helps your brain to be more sharp. It's good for intestinal issues. So it's usually a 12 to 18-hour window. I said 10, but it's usually like 12. Okay, 12 to 18-hour window. And why does it work? Well, you're tricking your body to go into ketosis, and that's what's happening. So it can zero out and reset your body. You're systematically starving the body to trigger fat burn. When done correctly, it can lower cholesterol, which is nice, and it can keep the blood nice and balanced. The liver will convert glycogen back to glucose. Once depleted, the body burns fat for energy instead of sugar. Fasting keeps insulin levels low. It supports the growth of neurons in the brain, that neurotropic factor. So, who should not be doing intermittent fasting? Type 1 diabetics, children, pregnant women, breastfeeding women. If you have a diagnosis that calls for you to be eating more often, then probably don't do intermittent fasting. So, if I'm going to skip meals, I want to be very intentional about this and have a plan around this. I always recommend that my clients, if they're going to do intermittent fasting of any kind, that it's going to look like this. You're going to have breakfast like a king. That means you aren't going to skip breakfast. It's okay to skip breakfast if you want to skip breakfast or to not eat right away when you wake up, but have your biggest meal like in those earlier hours. Digestion's burning a little hotter. You're just breaking your fast. And you eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, and dinner like a pauper. This way, you're not eating in between meals, but you're also not needing to count a bunch of calories either. You're getting a good balance of nutrition. So, we're really just trying to balance your plate better. This would mean I want some good, healthy protein on my plate, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 grams of protein in the morning. I'm going to want to have a good carbohydrate on there, some vegetables. If I want to have a good, healthy grain, like some quinoa, maybe some wild rice, I can put that on there. Some steel cut oats that are organic, a little bit of that. Maybe some Greek yogurt with a drizzle of honey and some raspberries or blueberries. That would be an excellent breakfast. You're going to eat enough to fill you up to capacity, 100% full, and then you're not going to eat again until maybe 2 p.m. So if you eat at 8 a.m., you're going to wait about 5 to 6 hours and you're going to eat again maybe around 2 p.m. and have a medium-sized meal. Okay, a nice big salad and a cup of soup. Okay, that would be a good lunch. And then you're not going to eat any snacks in between, but you're going to have dinner maybe in the evening time around 6, 6:30. You have a little cup of soup if you need it, maybe a little smoothie, maybe just a little teeny bowl of some steamed veggies with some grass-fed butter, something extremely small if you need it. You're not eating a big plate of food. The body really wants to be resting and not digesting in the evening time. A lot of people will have acid reflux because they eat too much food and then they lay down and they're watching TV and it might be a scary show and now their nerves are kind of on fire and we're having all kinds of issues with acid reflux. If you just switch up the way you're eating and have your bigger meal in the morning, your medium meal for lunch, and then our no meal for dinner would be awesome. But if you need a little something, great, do it. You're putting yourself in a fasting window from pretty much your late afternoon lunch all the way until 8 a.m. the next day. And that's the way I recommend that people do an intermittent fast or in general, just to kind of reset their eating habits and teach their body that the body actually wants to digest. It wants the time, it wants the rest. It doesn't want you to keep putting stuff in it all day long. If, however, you're on an eating protocol where you are eating 6 small meals a day, as long as you have your plan and you know exactly what those foods are, I think you're going to be fine there too. It really just depends on what works for you and your body. I have just found that people tend to be grazers a lot. They don't track, they don't count. And so eating 6 times a day, it's not going to work for them to lose weight and be healthy if they don't have a solid plan for what they're eating and haven't planned it out and tracked it and stuff. Okay. So, this is really what I wanted to say about skipping meals. You certainly can do it if it's intentional and planned. In fact, I watched Chris Hemsworth. Thor. He's got a show on Netflix now called Limitless. I think it's on Netflix. Really awesome show, but I just watched his episode on a 4-day fast. He did a 4-day fast, and a lot of religious communities, like Orthodox Christian, like Ethiopian Orthodox Christians, they will fast about 250 days out of the entire year. That's a lot of fasting, and they go long periods of time without eating food, and guess what? They're healthier for it. They're living longer. Their brain is sharper. Their bodies are fitter. They have more focus, more clarity, and that's what Chris Hemsworth is trying to do, is to see if he can get his body to be in a place where it can live longer and it's healthier, and that's why he tries these extreme things on his show Limitless. So go watch that show. Go watch the one on his fasting. It's intense. It's awesome. I used to do 36-hour fasts just for health. You're drinking water and bone broth and electrolytes, but other than that, you're not eating anything, and it's intense. It can be it can be intense to even make it 36 hours. 72 hours seems to be a good place for people, but again, these are planned out. They're very intentionally done. It's not punishing your body or starving your body in order to lose weight. It's more of you sacrificing yourself in a way to God. Like, it's really a religious thing. Now, within my religion, we fast once a month, 24 hours, and that is to help the cells regenerate and turn over and produce healthier cells and clean up the rogue cells. So many, many, many benefits to fasting. I know it gets a bad rap from a lot of people in different communities, but I think there's something for everybody out there, and it's worth just trying and figuring out if it's something that you can even do. Okay, so there it is. That's my 2 cents on skipping meals. Hope that this video was helpful for some of you guys. If you would like to come learn more about coaching with me and what I do, come on over to healthcoachheather.com to learn more about my coaching programs. Check out Destination Perfect Health, my year-long coaching program, or you can come coach one-on-one with me and let's get you to your healthiest place ever. All right. Come follow me on Instagram at Health Coach Heather. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.